So today, I've been working on this old algorithm I came up with. Here's a post I made about it. This was back, this was back in November of 2023. So a couple of years ago. But this is an algorithm I call targeted guidance. And so the goal of targeted guidance was to basically take two images. So you have a base image, and then you edit one of the other images to target what you're trying to do. So in this instance, I was targeting ears. So let me just run this little video. This is a training montage. It trained for 500 steps. This is Stable Diffusion 1.5. So you can see that it leaves most of the image alone. The only thing that's really targeting was the ears to make them bigger. And I have a few different examples here, but here is the entire data set. So I only did 3 images, and all I did is I have a medium and a large. So without the medium, it actually didn't work as well. Just doing big and small. You need a mid-ground one that you set the network weight at half. So that's why I have this. But this one I only did 3, and I just edited the ears to make them slightly bigger from the side as well. And you can see some of the other training examples here where it, for the most part, leaves the image alone. Okay, and to do this, we need to come up with a few images first. So we're going to stick with the big ear thing. What I'm going to do first is we have to generate some baseline images. So we'll just do a photo of a woman. Let's see what that gives us. And for this, I'm using Flex.1 Alpha. I'm biased towards that because I trained it. Okay, that one will work. Because it doesn't really matter what all it looks like. We want to be able to see ears because we are going to enlarge these ears. I don't like that they have an earring, but we'll generate a few and we'll pick the ones that are best. We want to do 2 women and 2 men. All these women have their ears covered. That doesn't really help us much. Let's do woman with hair behind ear. Okay, so I have selected 4 images. I'm going to use this one. Her ears right here. I don't like the earring. I think that could mess it up. So we're going to hand paint that. Just kind of get rid of it. Same with this one as an earring. We're going to get rid of that one. That image and this image. So we have people. They all have ears, which is important. And you can see their ears. Okay, and we're done. Poorly edited, but, demo. So let's go through and see. So we have this guy. He's got his big ears. He's got his medium ears, and he's got his small ears. We have this guy. He has big ears, medium ears, small ears. This girl, she has big ears, big ears, medium ears, small ears, or regular ears, I should say. Big ears, medium ears, regular ears. Okay, so that's our entire data set. We're just going to do 4 people, man, woman. So now what we need to do, we're going to spin up AI-Toolkit, and I'm going to show you guys how to plug this in. Okay, so now from AI-Toolkit, we're going to set up the data sets. So we can come here to the data sets. We're going to do a new data set, and we're going to call this one, let's do big ear. Then this one's going to be normal. Okay, we're going to do a new one, big ear. And this will be called medium. And then we're going to do a new data set, big ear. And this one's going to be large. Okay, so in our normal ones, with images. Okay, and we don't really need the caption on the normal ones because these are going to be the unconditionals. We want to capture the target ones though. So let's go back to our data sets. We'll do medium. Add images. So we want to capture these. So we'll do photo of a woman, that, and photo of a man. So we don't want to mention the ears because this is just, we generated these with photo of a woman, photo of a man. We had to do some stuff with hair behind the ear, but it's fine. We don't need to do that here. Okay, and then we'll go to the large. Okay, so now we have captions. Photo of a woman, photo of a woman, photo of a man, photo of a man. And we have our data sets. Okay, another thing I want to do, just for good measure, while we're here, is I want to add the 3 images I made for my other little sample, just so we have a few more examples here. Just these 3. They're smaller images, but that's fine. So let's go ahead and add all those as well. That'll work. Now we're going to set up the job. So we're going to come over here to training jobs. Let's do a new training job. We're going to set it all up here in the basic UI, but we'll eventually move that to the advanced UI. So we can do most of it here because a lot of these settings aren't exposed in the simple UI. Let's set this thing up. Start out, let's give it a name. I'm going to go with big ear because that's what we're doing. I'll stick with the GPU 0. Most of this we can kind of leave alone. I'm going to go with flex. This will work on WAN. It'll work on flex. It'll work on flux. See, it'll probably work on Lumina. I haven't tested on that. So yeah, leave it there for now because that's my model. Leave it at 32. You could probably do lower rank depending on what you're doing, but I'm going to leave it there. Let's see. I'll leave all this alone. The learning rate, I'm going to crank up because since we're targeting very specific things, the actual the loss is not going to be as high. So we can probably crank this up quite a bit. I'm just going to do 4. And we'll leave all of this the same. So here's our data sets. So we need 2 data sets, remember, because we have big ears and then we have medium ears. So we'll go ahead and add that. So we have our big ear large and our big ear medium. I'll leave all of this alone. Over here, you could probably get away with just 512 with flux, but we'll do it full size. That's fine. So we're going to do bigger, medium. Here's important. So remember, on the medium one, we want it to be half strength, right? So that way it works like a slider. And so we're giving it a linear trajectory. So in order to do that, we'll put 0.5 here. So it'll set the LoRa at 0.5 weight when it runs this batch through. Let's see. The rest of this is all fine. Okay, so on the images, we have stuff like horse. That's not going to help us out. So let's do man here. Man, woman. And that's not, this is further away. So let's do a close up of a woman's face in the mountains. Perfect. Okay. That I could have done that faster a different way. Okay, a woman playing guitar on stage. So we have one woman, man, woman, man. And we'll do woman and then a man. Okay, I think all of this is good. On this one, let's do, because women tend to have hair over their ears in most of these. So we'll put with her hair in a ponytail. And the other thing we want to adjust is time step. So, okay. Time step type. So sigmoid's going to be focusing on central time steps. But since we're actually targeting, shapes and all this, but we also have a really good regularization, I'm going to actually go with flux shift. So this is going to make it where it's really similar to how it inferences when it's shifting. So I think that'll be the best for this. I mean, sigmoid is really good if you're just like training a person's face, and it kind of works as a regularization of itself because it doesn't allow it to hit those early time steps that are going to drastically change the image. But we don't care about that as much because we are doing regularization a different way. So flux shift it is. Other than that, we're pretty good. So we can't start the job here because you may notice we don't have our unconditional and our target here because that's not in the simple UI. So we have to come over here to the advanced UI. All of your stuff gets carried over. So start in simple, come over here and finish it up. So you can see big ear, all that's still here. The only things that we really need to add is something called unconditional path. Right? We'll do it right below here. Make sure your spacing is right though. Unconditional path. And the way unconditional path works is it's going to look in our folder path and it's going to get all the images. Those are our training images, right? Those are our target images, the big ears and the medium ears. The unconditional path though, I didn't mean to do that. The unconditional path, it's going to find an image. So let's say it finds an image here called image01.jpg. Well, here it's going to look for any image file that starts with image01. It has to match the first part of the file name. So you could have JPEG and then PNG over here and it'll still match. But the first part of the file name has to match. And then it'll pull them together as a pair and it'll put that in the batch. And that's how we can run our process. So remember, if we go over here to our data set, we named this one bigger normal. Everything in our data set's all on the same path. So they're all going to be, here's my path. So all we have to do is replace that part and we're good. The other part that we need to do is for guidance type. So we're just going to tell it, because there's a lot of different guidance types. I'll show you more on that later. But we're just going to do targeted flow. Okay, and then we can use the same here because these are the medium images, but our unconditional is going to be the same. It's going to be the normal images and the normal images. So this is our baseline and this is our target. And targeted flow on both. Other than that, is there anything else we want to change here? I would like to update the sample steps. So let's do every 100 instead of 250. That way we can see it more. It's going to be a lot slower for me, my end, but, I'll just skip through the video. I won't make you sit through all of that. Other than that, we are good here. Make sure that the network weight is half. For our medium ears, that's all set right. We're using flux shift for the time step. 4e -4 for the learning rate. We're ready to go. Okay, so we're going to create this job, GPU 0. Looks good. Okay, remember, they don't start automatically. So that way we could add a bunch of jobs and come in and queue them up as we want. So let's go ahead and give it a start. The thing you want to watch for here is going to say starting job. Once it starts loading the transformer, that means everything's working right. And you can kind of relax and let it do its thing. But right now, the GPU is coming up. Okay, loading transformer. We have GPU load. It's loading things in the memory. Everything's looking good. So we'll revisit once we get some samples. So we had the samples come in. So if we look at it, so we'll go across first. These are the ones that are the baselines, right? So this is without any training. This is what we're going to get based on our prompts. So we have an ear exposed. That's good. That one does not have an ear exposed. We probably should have removed the beanie, but it'll be good because we can see what happens to people that have beanies on. Probably should have removed the headphones. But again, we can see what happens with headphones. This one's going to be fine. That one's going to be real good. Hair's covering her ears. I think that'll be fine though. And there we have ear exposed ears. Kind of see her ears through her hair. So that should be good. We have ears there. Okay. All these people have ears. That's decent. So let's go and we'll look at the first samples. So we go from here. This is our step 100. Keep in mind, we're sampling at step 100. Normally, we wouldn't even sample till step 250, 500. So these are really early samples. The model's just starting to get configured. So, but yeah, we can see that the ear is adjusting. The image is taking some changes, but nothing too drastic. And we can go to this one. There's some weird stuff going on with hands. Some of this could be that we don't have any hands in our data set. It could be kind of learning that appendages are bigger. I don't know. It's early on. We don't know what's going to happen there. So then we have the DJ getting some changes. His hands are doing some stuff as well. Okay. That guy's getting some ears. There's definitely something happening with his ears. He's also looking a little goofier. Some stuff going on with the ears. Some stuff going on with the hands. Okay, we're getting some ears. There's some changes, definitely some weirdness with the hands, but that should clean up. That's what our regularization is going to do. It's going to force the image to stay. We have new samples. Let it run a few. That way we aren't just doing one at a time because that would suck. So let's take a look. Okay, so we're going to look at the redheaded girl playing chess. And we're getting some ear things happening. It's definitely working. There's some reddish to her ears, but they don't look like these monstrosities. So it's cleaning up. That's what we want to see. The image is mostly maintaining composition. That's good. Let's see with the woman at the beanie. Still no ears poking out. She's hopping around, but the hands don't look as bad. Okay, that's good. They're a little blurry, so they're being corrected right now, but that's a good sign. Okay, the DJ, we scroll that. Oh yeah, there's some earphones. Something happening. We went comically large with the ears, so the model is going to struggle to learn that. If we just had slightly larger ears, that'd be one thing. Having comically large ears is a completely different beast. Okay, let's look at the guy with the shark. Oh yeah, those are getting bigger, and the shark ate one of his ears, I guess. Okay, well, he has a big ear, so we'll just write that off to the shark ate it. That's fine. Let's look at this lady. Okay, all right. Oh yeah, nice smooth transition. That's what I like to see is as it's learning, it's just gradually cleaning it up of most of the image. you look at her compared to this one, most of it's the same. Just the ears are starting to clean up while the rest of it gets regularized back to what it was. That one's working very well. Lady with the guitar, ears are still covered. Real curious if those ears are going to poke out. Okay, that's working real well. The hipster man building a chair. It's cleaning up. I mean, there's still some you can see some artifacts, but Flex has some artifacts in it anyway. Yeah, we'll see how well that cleans up. Oh, there we go. It's growing them. Still look a little odd, but it's getting there. And no ears pop out on that one. See the guy on the bike. Oh yeah, he's growing some big ears and they're cleaning up. So this is looking just like we want it to look. We're really at step 500 here. A lot of times I don't even start sampling. My first sample would come in at 500. So let's fast forward in time to the next ones. More samples. Let's take a look. It seems like it's working really good. So one of the things that's hopping around a lot though, going back and forth. So, oh, hey, beanie person is getting ears. Then they go away. So this is generally when this is happening. The learning rate's too high. But we'll adjust that here in a second. The DJ is trying to have ears. This guy got a cowboy hat. Where were we? We were like a bit off ear guy, right? So yeah, I mean, that guy, he has big ears. And then they get a cowboy hat. Ears are coming back. This girl has changed quite a bit. So yeah, I'm going to drop the learning rate down. I mean, a lot of these are, oh yeah. I mean, we're definitely getting big ears. Okay. So no doubt about that. I want to show you how to drop the learning rate down though. So if we come over here, we could just hit pause right there, but I want to come over here and show you. So we're at step 1000, etc. So we're at step 1000. If we were sampling every 500, we'd have 2 samples. So let's go ahead and stop it. Wait for it to completely stop. Job stopped. Okay, so now we can come in here and we can edit. Since we did it in advanced, we probably want to keep doing it in advanced just to make sure we don't break anything. And what I want to adjust, so we're halfway through. We set it for 2,000 steps. We're at step 1,000. We're at 4e-4 right now. Let's set this to something like 1, or we could even, I think that'll probably be good. So we'll do 1e-4. And we'll leave everything else alone. I think everything else is fine. So we update job. I need to fix that where it takes you to the training job, but it doesn't. So just come over here and then we're ready to go again. So we'll fire that back up. Wait for it to start. And then I'll check back once we have the rest. We'll probably go ahead and train it the rest of the way out for the next samples. It is done. All right, let's take a look at what we got. So where we left off, we were up here and you can tell before we moved the learning rate, I mean, it was jumping around quite a bit. And then it's really clear when we adjusted the learning rate down because it was jumping around significantly and then it becomes smoother. So this is our final image. Ears are not perfectly clean, but I mean, look at our data set. You can get much better results with a better data set. At the end, it was kind of trying to do ears on the girl with the big beanie, but the last image does not have it. The hands are always trying to mess up a little bit, but I think it's okay. I didn't know what I expected to see there. The DJ, big ears, nice. This guy has some big ears. Good. This girl, I mean, she looks very similar to the original image. If we scroll up to the top, that girl to there, I mean, pretty spot on. Obviously the ears, but that was the goal. They're getting a few ears here. all in all, works pretty well. There are some weird artifacts, but again, if you go back to our data set, I come here, let's look at some of the large ones. One issue that I noticed why the ears were disappearing, I come back and look. So if you look, like for instance, on this person, the ear should be sticking out over here. It should be visible. And same probably on this guy. So the fact that we don't have that, kind of like here, we took the time to build that extra ear node. The model's like having a hard time understanding like, but there should be an ear here and there's not. So that's probably why we were actually losing the ears a little bit. But all in all, I think this worked out pretty well. So that is targeted flow guidance. That's how you can do it. This is just one example. Obviously, this may not even be very useful. In fact, let me rephrase that. This is not useful to have enormous ears. But there's a lot of stuff you can do here. If you want to change logos, if you want to change, erase things from the model, if you want to just people's eyes. I mean, it goes on and on and on. If you want to get rid of cartoons and make it more realistic, or go from realistic to more cartoons, you can make your data set using control nets. And the list just goes on. So that's it. Hope that's helpful to some of you. And don't forget, if you like my work, please support me on Patreon. In fact, if you're using the UI, you can click that little button down there. Patreon supporters generally get some early access to models I'm training, and I'm going to find more things to put out there. But that's it, guys. I will see you next time.